Welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you in Washington, D.C., and I'm very honored and pleased to have in the studio with me a very special guest, Dana Siegelman, the daughter of former Alabama Governor Don Siegelman. Dana, great to see you again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for joining us. Tell us, for listeners who may not know the story of Don Siegelman, your father, the former governor of Alabama, and also he held several different positions in that state. Did he not? He was the Attorney General. I'm sorry?
Well, that's correct. He was actually one of the longest-running Democrats in the Southeast, which is one of the reasons we believe he was politically targeted. But he did hold all of the highest elected offices in Alabama, so Secretary of State, Attorney General, Lieutenant Governor, and then Governor. Yeah,
it's pretty amazing. And he, in 2002, was the election, right? Ran against Bob Riley. Won, went to bed thinking that he'd won, woke up discovering that a Republican district in the middle of the night had discovered 15,000, was it, votes?
It was about 7,000 votes in Baldwin County that had been switched just in the gubernatorial precinct. No other candidates had votes that were shifted, just votes shifted to Bob Riley, my dad's opponent,
right.
Which is why the scholars say that this was obviously a fraudulent election. It's just simply impossible for something like that to happen.
And he started yelling about it, and they squashed him like a bug. I don't know how to say it beyond that. Tell us the story of what happened to your father.
So basically, I mean, you hear about election fraud a lot now, and Dad's case was one of the first where you had a contested election where, it had been announced that he was a winner. Then in the middle of the night, the vote shifted, and his opponent came forward the next morning claiming that he was the winner. So obviously, Dad contested the results. What happened was, however, that the Attorney General at the time, Bill Pryor, said anyone who recounts these votes is going to prison. I mean, we'll throw you in prison if you try to recount these votes by hand.
Really?
That's correct.
Was he a Republican?
He is Republican, yes.
Yeah, okay.
It was actually his office which started to investigate Dad on the state level, which then Laura Canary turned into a federal investigation in 2005.
And Laura Canary is the husband of Bill Canary, who was the campaign manager for Bob Riley, the guy that your dad was running against, and was also Karl Rove's best friend from the good old days when Karl Rove used to live down in Alabama, right?
It's so obviously... They're so obviously connected in their ideology and their goals, which are very political.
Right.
They're there to protect special interest, and whether it's the prosecutorial level or whether it's the attorney general or the governor's race, it was basically a handful of Republican operatives that sought to take my father out of politics. So this AG blocked the recount of the votes, and my dad would have liked to take it to the court, which was the next level, except all the judges are Republicans, thanks to Karl Rove, who came in the 1990s, and due to the tort reform movement, he switched. He helped basically vet these judgeships to be Republican. That's
amazing.
Correct.
By the way, if you're just tuning in, we're talking with Dana Siegelman, the daughter of former Alabama Governor Don Siegelman. The website is free-don.
I'm wearing it. I don't know if people can see it, but it's actually on the shirt.
There it is.
Because I'm wearing this is I wear this every day. It's so easy now to get dressed in the morning. But yeah, what we have right now is a petition going to the president that I've started on behalf of my father and his pardon. I believe he should be fully pardoned. However, the president has the choice to commute the sentence as well, which means he wouldn't be able to practice law, wouldn't be able to vote, wouldn't be able to leave the country, but at least he wouldn't be in prison.
Right.
And at the same time, we want another investigation of the DOJ. I mean, we want to know, did this happen to other people? We believe it did. And if so, why were people politically targeted? And we do know, because of the U.S. attorney scandal, that 8 prosecutors, U.S. prosecutors, were fired for not targeting Democrats.
Now, my understanding of how this worked, and correct me if I have any of the details of this wrong, I'll try to do it very quickly, is that your father was in favor of the state of Alabama having a lottery that would help fund education, scholarships, and schools and things. And Ralph Reed and Jack what's his name?
Abramoff.
Abramoff, thank you. And their buddies and Karl Rove were all very opposed to that because they were in it with the Indian casinos and they didn't want the competition. And your father had appointed a fellow to the position of hospital oversight board that the previous Republican governor had also appointed to that position.
The previous three governors had appointed this person.
And this is an unpaid job.
Right, non-paid
that this guy got. And this guy had made a contribution to the organization which your father did not run or have anything to do with. He just supported the goal of it that was trying to get the lottery in the state to help education. Am I right so far? So then they came in and they said, because your father appointed this guy to this position, which is his job as a governor, is to make these political appointments, and that position was open, and he appointed the same guy the three previous governors had, he was guilty of bribery.
Yeah,
and that's why he's in jail right now.
The real sick thing is that Richard Scrushy, who was the health executive that was reappointed to this non-paying board, not only had sat on the board for 12 years under three other governors and had resigned from the board, didn't want to sit on it anymore, he had actually contributed to those governors' races. So he had contributed directly to, actually held a fundraiser for Bob James, who preceded my father. So
a Republican.
A Republican. So what you have is, him not only not contributing to my father's campaign. My father was already elected as governor.
Right.
What he contributed to was this education lottery referendum campaign, which would have gotten free education for underprivileged kids in Alabama, which was a pet project of my father. So he didn't give my father any money. My father was never said to have benefited a penny. And yet he actually contributed to these other governors running for office who appointed him.
None of whom are in jail.
None of whom are in jail. And when my dad did it, suddenly, it's like, oh, we can't have this Fortune 500 company health executive supporting a Democrat. It's, forbidden. Why is he doing this?
Right.
And
they could support Republicans all day long. That's just fine. We're talking with Dana Siegelman. free-don.org is the website. Go there right now and check it out.
And please post it on Facebook and Twitter it and make sure your friends know what's happened in this country and have everyone, sign it.
So Karl Rove's best friend was running the campaign against your dad.
But Karl Rove himself was involved. We have sworn testimony in front of the House Judiciary Committee, 150 pages of it, where Dana Jill Simpson, an operative of Karl Rove's, hired by Karl Rove and Bob Riley, my dad's running opponent, to spy on my father and collect evidence that would possibly throw him out of the race prior to this indictment. However, during the time of preceding the trial, she was privileged to phone calls where these people talked about, this is the judge that we have for the case. He's going to hang Don Siegelman. Karl Rove's promised the DOJ will pursue Siegelman. These are the girls we've got on the case. And then, of course, they meant Laura Canary, Bill Canary's wife, and Alice Martin.
Right. And Laura Canary was the federal prosecutor.
Right.
But the wife of the guy who's running the campaign of Bob Riley.
Right. And this is sworn testimony. Not only did they take her word for it, they pulled her phone records to make sure she actually did have conversations with the people.
So if anybody should be in prison right now, it's Karl Rove.
Absolutely. And I would say, the former governor Bob Riley and Canary, and both Canaries.
Yeah, I mean, there's a major conspiracy here to take a good man and put him in prison, and which is where he is sitting right now as we speak. Your father is in prison.
He is.
In a federal prison.
He is.
And this is and if this standard of you appointed somebody who didn't even contribute to your campaign to a board that the governor is supposed to appoint somebody to, if this standard was held, President Obama would be in prison. Every president forever would be in prison for appointing ambassadors. And they're appointing, don't get me
But
started.
like I said, the sick part is Richard Scrushy did not want this seat on the health board. He had resigned when my dad
He did it as a favor to your dad.
Absolutely. He said, look,
incredible.
you need a Republican.
Yeah, we've got to wrap it up. Dana Siegelman, go to free-don.org now.